What's going on, Sky Squad? We are back in the building, and of course, we got to do it big on this Mother's Day weekend. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. Listen, it's a day of celebration, and we celebrate you today, and we want to just send you some love. But y'all know it's time for us to get into this little Ponderosa over this latest episode. We're talking about season 4 of Love and Marriage Huntsville, episode 7, My Bloody Galentines. Okay. And bloody it was. Okay. This to me, listen, if you're in the chatterization, I was about to rate the episode. I'm getting ahead of myself because I'm excited, baby. I just got out the road getting back from visiting my mama. So I'm all hyped up, energetic, and excited. And I had a little bit of coffee today, too. So, with that being said, listen. Oh, yo, it's your first time catching me live? What? Hey, welcome to the Ponderosa, baby. Welcome to the Ponderosa. You know what? When you come up into this space, y'all got to let us know where you're watching from. You know what I'm saying? We like to know where our people are watching from because we a tiny bit nosy, but we just like to see where our folks are at. Okay, where the folks at today? All right. I see we got Detroit in the building, Rochester, New York, Louisville is in the building. Hey, happy Mother's Day. I see y'all with all the shout outs. I appreciate and the aunties. Okay, come on, aunties. Okay. We got Norcross, we got Pace, we got California, we got Brooklyn in the building. I appreciate y'all for going ahead and let me know what that raterization is. We got South Africa in the building, Bermuda. We got St. Louis, Chicago, Dallas, baby. We got Philly in the building. We got Baton Rouge. We got Memphis, Tennessee. We got Newmarket, Alabama, New Jersey, Dallas. Listen, thank you guys so much for tuning in, jumping into this live Ponderosa to discuss. We're doing this a little bit later today, but I'm going to tell you guys the truth. Like I said, I just got off the road, so we got to get into the doggone thing, okay? I appreciate you, Cape Town. I appreciate y'all. Y'all know I got love for Cape Town. But listen, y'all, we got a sponsor for today's video. And so before we get into my rating, because I am going to rate it, we have got to get into the sponsor for today's video. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into today's video sponsor.
Y'all, I'm so excited. My 7th Avenue Premier Skincare package just arrived and it comes with instructions. So for me, this is going to be perfect. After a nice workout at the gym, it's going to be time for me to shower and wash my face from all the sweat. And what better way to do it than with this hydrating facial cleanser? It smells really good and it penetrates the skin, which I absolutely love. After you wash it off, you're going to then use the hydrating facial toner, which is just such a nice little mist and it smells amazing. Then you're going to want to moisturize that face with the Vitamin Boost Face Moisturizer, and that is going to keep your face moist all day long. But you guys can't forget about those lips and keeping those moist as well. And then it's time to start your day. Or if you're like me, you'll want to take a nice bubble bath with the hydrating milk bath. The perfect way to end the perfect day. Click the link in the description to get your 7th Avenue Premier Skincare products today.
Yes, for the sponsor video today. Okay, 7th Avenue Skincare. Use code MOM30, okay, to get 30% off. And listen, I saw somebody say, bribing people to control the narrative. No, boo, it's called commerce, okay? When you got a business and you want to promote it, what you do is you pay for ads. That's how it works. Now, you too, if you got a business, can pay for an ad, and I'll do one for your video as well. But until then, this is what you're going to get, okay? Code MOM30. It's down in the description down below. All right? Anyway, thank you so much, Catherine, forehand. We appreciate that. And I thank you so much for the happy Mother's Day wishes to my mom. Okay? All right. So listen, people don't know how sponsorships work. So I felt like I had to let them know. Okay? Anyway, we got to talk about this episode and what I'm going to rate it. And I'm going to rate this episode a 10 across the board. Now, I want you guys to rate this episode as well on a scale of 1 to 10, of course, 1 being the lowest and then 10 being the highest. Okay. So for me, I'm giving it a 10, and let me tell you why. And I want you guys to tell me what you was gonna give it. Okay. Now listen, I'm giving this a 10 because we got a lot in this episode. We got business, we got therapy, we got what was about to be a girl fight, okay? And we got this huge, what I think is, I don't know if it's a misunderstanding that's leading to this, but I'm gonna go ahead and call it. Kimmy is the new bone collector. And I'm going to explain it all in just a little bit. Now, Kimmy, you know I love me some Kimmy, but Kimmy literally, whether she knows it or not, sprinkled her seasoning on it, and she got the spoon and she stirred up the cauldron, baby, and then holds a Ponderosa. After she stirs up the juice, she holds a Ponderosa to get everybody together to talk about the mess that she done stirred up. Okay. And listen, you gotta love it because the way she has done it, and she just is like, you know what? I'm just trying to get the girls back together. I really don't know what's going on. But I'm like, as I'm watching the episode, I'm like, Kimmy, if it wasn't for you hyping LATISHA up about what Kiki had and Melody was talking about when they was talking about that photo that Marcel had posted, then LATISHA wouldn't have been so upset with Kiki. LATISHA wouldn't have came up in there in her tennis shoes ready to get crunk, okay? So that just added fuel to the fire that was already brewing between Melody and Destiny. So I was like, Kimmy, you are getting your charade on this season, okay? You are getting it on this season. Because I tell you the truth, regardless, Melody was not feeling LATISHA based on what happened at the reunion from back in December, right? So LATISHA seemingly forgot that she had shaded her during the reunion, rolling her eyes, basically telling Melody she tried to ruin her marriage when the two of them had already agreed to be on better terms. So rehashing all that apparently made Melody feel some type of way, okay? So for Destiny to be talking to LATISHA about Melody or whatever they were saying, that to me is why Melody is upset. Now, what I will say is Melody could have done a better job of communicating to Destiny, hey girl, I just need a minute after I'm done with this show, okay? And then they probably would have been in a much better space than they are in now. But because this is where we at in the episode, we got to talk about it and we're going to hash it all out right now. Okay? So we start the episode with Kimmy visiting Destiny at the Madani. Madani is open and ready for business, okay? Now, Kimmy is hopeful that Melody and Destiny can get back together and immediately ask her, well, girl, what is the deal with you and Melody? Kimmy says that she feels like it's a different level of animosity on both levels. Destiny is annoyed because she feels like Melody is making up stuff. So for Destiny, she feels like, I think what she feels like is she was venting to LATISHA about the reunion maybe, and what Melody overheard, Melody just didn't like. So I think that Destiny feels like, well, girl, I was just venting, okay? And what I said wasn't all that bad, but perhaps to Melody, it was bad because LATISHA had already come at her at the reunion, okay? So I think that is the key to the misunderstanding here. But I could be wrong. I could be totally wrong, all right? Grace Greenleaf says Kimmy knew what she was going to be dragged in it anyway. So she Grace, you got a point there. She was going to get dragged up in it some kind of way. So she might as well have stirred up the juice, okay? Stirred it on up. You know what Kimmy did? It's like she shook up a bottle of Coca-Cola and said, oh, let me open it now. Everything bust out. Anyway, Destiny says that Melody told her to stop being friends with LATISHA and Martel because LATISHA is the ops. And y'all know what? For the longest time, when people would say ops, I had no idea what they meant. All I knew was it's something bad. Okay. Now I thought to myself, it's using my context clues. I figured it meant opponent or opposition or something like that. But it was very nice for Kimmy to break it down for those of us who are not in the know of the current terminology amongst the children and the people. Okay. So anyway, Kimmy is surprised that Melody and LATISHA aren't in a good place, but neither Kimmy nor Destiny can figure out exactly what happened. Even though I felt like Melody told Kimmy what happened when they had lunch at the little wine place, but I could be mistaken. So Kimmy decides, well, listen, girl, we're going to have a Ponderosa. Okay. We're going to have a Ponderosa for Galentine's Day. That's where the gals get together and they celebrate the love between them or whatever. And Destiny's like, who gonna be there? Who all gonna be over there? Because that's what I want to know too. I'm not trying to go nowhere these days if I don't know who all is gonna be there, because that is gonna determine whether or not I will be there. Okay, because I definitely ain't showing up if you name some names that I don't really like or care for. Okay. And so Destiny finally relents and is like, well, listen, I'll go, but you just better make sure it's some drinks and some food and a clear and easy access to the exit in case I need to make a quick dash for the dough if I'm annoyed. Okay. Now, the next scene is Marceau goes to visit his brother Maurice at the Scott Imperium. I think the Scott Imperium is really a term that Maurice is using for his grand office, his grand central station of the offices that or where all of his business endeavors converge. Okay. So Marceau got some opportunities, not to be confused with ops, okay, for building some hotels and some apartment complexes. Now he brings up Martel wanting to get Scout back together, okay? Scout being the company that was formed between the Holts and the Scotts, ergo Scout, okay? Now, he says that he feels like he's talking to a different Martel now. Martel getting himself together. But we learned that LATISHA had an apartment complex. Y'all be sleeping on LATISHA, but LATISHA is a business-minded woman, okay? She had her apartment complex. She sold it, bought Martel out when Melody and Martel was going through the divorce and they was having to dissolve all the things and whatnot. And she ended up becoming the majority owner in the Scout. Okay. So really, she got to be the one to make the decisions about the Scout because, Marceau is in the minority here. And shout out to LATISHA for making that type of boss move, because I'm like, that was some real smart moving right there, girl. That was some real smart moving. So, Maurice wants to know, well, if Martel is trying to buy back in, who shares is he buying? Marceau ain't thought about that. Because LATISHA ain't going to be trying to give up none of her shares. And if I was her, I definitely wouldn't be giving up none of my shares to somebody who has said various miscellaneous things about my marriage. I definitely wouldn't do that. And Marceau is like, I don't know, I ain't trying to give up mine either. Okay. On the real. Demeter Joe says, I believe Martel, Destiny, and the Scots made a pact to come for Melody. No, we'll see. We'll see. So anyway, he brings up, okay, me and Martel can do some work on Destiny's salon suites as a testing ground. Maurice says, we'll get a clear vision on the leadership on these projects, but it's going to be a tough sell to buy back into Scout, okay? Particularly with how Marceau and Martel have beefed in the past. But Maurice thinks that Martel is good in business in certain aspects, but he needs to finish the residential things that he's started in addition to that builder's license, which we're going to get back to in just a moment, okay? Marceau then says Martel getting his builder's license would be a good look, as we've all been stating all season long and last season as well. And so right now, he tells Maurice, Martel buying back into Scout is off the table. Maurice is like, well, have you told Martel that buying back into Scout is off the table? And Marceau is like, no, I ain't told him yet, okay? So then Melody, she goes to visit Dominique Dillard, not to be confused with Dom Unique from Candy in the Game, but this is a psychotherapist who is specializing on helping Melody through her post-divorce healing. Now, she talks about, things that are keeping Melody rooted and grounded outside of the kids, and Melody says, well, girl, I'm doing the meditations and things. And the psychotherapist says, well, are you setting boundaries socially? Melody says that, well, I have removed all of the energy vampires in my social circle, and she is not sure that the ladies are ready to come together at Kimmy's Galentine's Day Ponderosa. So she don't know. Okay. But she says, I can come to the table respectfully, but if they get disrespectful, it's time to turn up the heat. Now, Dominique is like, well, girl, okay, now this is not good. What you need to do is learn to practice some self-control and make up in your mind what energy you are going to bring to the situation. And Dominique wants her to come into that situation calculated about how she wants to be, move in a space of resolution versus conflict. And Melody's like, I don't know. Last year, I was trying to be cool, calm, and collected, but it's 2022, okay? And while I'm operating in a state of peace, I ain't just going to take anybody saying anything to me at this point, okay? And she says anybody that makes me a target, she's going to start firing back, okay? So everybody is coming into the Galentine's Day Ponderosa sitting on ready, okay? Which is never a good thing because if the feelings are already on 10, it's unlikely that anybody's going to leave feeling like, kumbaya, my lord, kumbaya. It's just not going to happen, okay? So anyway, Martel, oh Lord, goes to visit his partner, Fred, who is a general contractor, and, they business partners and whatnot. He's trying to get a closing date on a property and really get back into the game, okay? And Martel, talks about Fred and everybody else talking about getting his builder's license. And Fred, what does he do? Fred, excuse me one second. Fred, bring out the books. Here go the builder's books, Martel. Here they go. Here are the builder's books. Why don't you get to studying? Okay. Break out the books. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Martel admits that, well, Melody had told me to get my builder's license too. Okay. And he seems content to just let everybody else in his life do the work with the builder's license because he don't want to take the time to sit down, study, and pass the builder's license exam. Okay. Now, to me, this is just a little lazy. Okay. Because what it tells me is you want to be codependent on all of your business partners to help you get to the bag. If you had your own builder's license, you could get to the bigger bag on your own. So Fred is like, well, what if me and you fall out? I mean, you and Melody fell out. Martel is like, well, that was a marriage and it took 12 years. Men, we don't fall out like that. And I'm thinking to myself, are you kidding me? That's why you're not in SCOT now, because you and Marcel fell out. You don't remember that? And that happened in the blink of an eye, okay? And I was just like, you know what? He's talking around it in his confessional. And I'm like, if you just don't stop being lazy and get this license, man, you know what? I feel like everybody in the business world, in the Huntsville community, and I don't really know because I don't live there, but I feel like they would respect him more and want to do more business with him if he'd said, you know what, y'all? I got my license. Okay, I got it. Let's get to work. But he ain't doing none of that. Instead, he making wines and writing books and things like that and making meal plans and meal preps and all kinds of other things. Listen, and I'm not saying that those things are not lucrative and they're not on brand for what he could be doing. But in the meantime, while you got all those other things going, especially now that you got a manager, what you need to be doing is putting your head in that book and getting that builder's license like everybody around you been telling you, okay? And so over to the event space, Kimmy is getting ready for the Galentine's Day girls party. Okay. Um, she's hopeful. And I'm like, girl, you didn't you didn't carry so many bones. I think they all about to be dug up today. I don't know why you're hopeful. She just wants everybody to have a good time again, despite what she done told everybody. um, Tiffany arrives, and I had forgot she was a part of the show. Tiffany, you're gonna have okay. So and people gonna have this issue with me when I talk about Stormy as well. But the reason I got to talk about Tiffany and Stormy at this moment is because of the impact on the show. I understand. Listen, when a new person comes onto Love and Marriage Huntsville, most people do not like the new people. It's a fact. People did not like Destiny because she came in strong. People didn't like Tiffany because she came in strong. People don't like Stormy because she coming in strong. The thing that I feel like has happened with Tiffany is that she is becoming forgettable. Okay. And the reason I say that is because half the time when the ladies were in this scene, I forgot she was there. And we forget that she was there because she had nothing to say and she had nothing to contribute. When you are on a reality TV show, and this is where I come out of my reviewers mode and I go into my imaginary production role. I would have talked to Tiffany earlier that day and said, Tiffany, you need to be involved in the conversation because otherwise we could have had Kiki in your seat and you could have sat at home, okay, and rocked Lewis to sleep, okay? Because Kiki would have been a better fit for that conversation because she was actually involved in the conversation over the phone. Kiki in the actual Ponderosa said more than Tiffany said during the entire time that she was there, and Tiffany was in the scene present. Okay. So Tiffany, and again, this is where I'm stating that I know a lot of you guys are not gonna like Stormy because she's getting involved. But on a reality TV show, you have got to get involved. And Tiffany, if you are not going to get involved in these conversations, you should have stayed home. Okay? Stay at home. Anyway, you know, Kimmy wants to have a good some type of mediation amongst the ladies. And she wonders if she should have gotten a bouncer. I mean, a bouncer, Kiki, Martel, Marceau, anybody would have been better than Tiffany in this moment. And I listen, it's not for me disliking Tiffany. I'm just saying, Tiffany, you're not making your presence known. And when you stop making your presence known and the audience starts forgetting that you in the scene, that's a problem. Okay. LATISHA arrives and Tiffany is bartending, so she got a role. Okay, she got something to do. She's making the drinks behind the bar. She's, pouring the drinks. And LATISHA arrives and is like, "Girl, you doing what you do best." I thought, and I was like, "Oh, was this some type of shade that I missed or something like that?" But Tiffany delivers some shade right back about Marceau, and then they just kind of leave it alone. All right. LATISHA is already on some I was a topic of conversation. And so I got my tennis shoes on today and I'm ready. She had her tennis shoes on, she had her hair pulled back in a ponytail, so you can't grab that ponytail, okay? You can't grab no hair, okay? And apparently everybody late. Melody and Stormy finally arrive and LATISHA pays them dust. LATISHA is on that phone like y'all know how y'all do it. Because we done all done it before. Somebody walk into the room that we don't like, and suddenly the phone is the most important thing around. And sometimes you even fake it. Hey, girl, how you doing? Oh yeah, They coming in the room, so I ain't trying to talk to that girl. Get out of here. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Be over there later. Oh, you need me to leave here early. Oh, okay. I got you. Y'all know how y'all do it. So anyway, she paying them absolute dust. Melody takes notice that LATISHA is not giving her any energy, and she's already like, okay, the energy's already off in this situation. Okay. The next person that arrives finally is Destiny. Okay. We got a super chat from Erica who says, didn't Melody find Tisha in the room? So why is it Tisha's job to say hello to her? Melody said hello to Kimmy and Tiffany. Just rude. Listen, I don't know whose job it is to say hello to whom. And to be honest with you, I'm not concerned. What I do know is that LATISHA paid her dust. I mean, and that's just the truth of the matter. Similarly, when Destiny came in, I felt like Melody and STORMI paid her dust. The only person that Destiny greeted was really LATISHA and Kimmy. I don't even know if she greeted Tiffany. I don't even know if Destiny knew that Tiffany was there, okay? Because I didn't. Grace Greenleaf says, LATISHA arrived ready for battle. Sometimes you have to remind folks you are about that life. I don't blame LATISHA. That heifer ain't worth recognizing. It is what it is. Hashtag. Thank you, boo, for that super chat. Okay, so Kimmy tells them, everybody's sitting down around the Ponderosa. Kimmy tells them, she hopes that they can have some conversation, to bring everybody back together after I done told y'all all stuff that'll tear you apart. But you know what's funny? Don't nobody know that it was Kimmy who was sprinkling the bones and putting them here and there. This is the irony of the situation that I absolutely love. Don't nobody know, or ain't nobody calling out the fact that it was Kimmy that was going back and forth and delivering all the information, which is just so amazing to me. It was masterful, Kimmy. It was masterful of you. Anyway, it's time for a game. So in this game, what you do is you write on a piece of paper truth about you and a misconception about you, okay? So Mel writes on her card, well, the truth about her is that she likes to help people. The misconception about her is that she is selfish. LATISHA goes, the truth about her is that she is fun. She had a misconception, but she changed it at the last minute and said that the misconception is that she is naive. Now, Melody in her confessional says, LATISHA says that the misconception is that she is naive. Now, I'm going to let y'all decide whether or not she's naive or not. Do y'all think that LATISHA is naive, or do you think that LATISHA is hopeful? Okay, let me give you guys the distinction. I myself can at times be naive, and let me tell you why. Y'all ever been talking to somebody and they're telling a story about themselves, and you just be like listening, like, oh yes, and then later somebody come back and tell you, why was they lying about that? They lied about that, and I'm always shocked, like, what? They lied for real? Because in my mind, why are you lying? What are you lying for? I'm not looking for those triggers that the person is lying, but I have friends who be scrutinizing and listening to every little word that come out the person's mouth, or they just in the know. And they'll be like, yeah, because last week they said this, and this week they said that, and 3 weeks ago they said this, and I'm sitting there like, oh, they did they? So I don't know if I'm naive or I'm just hopeful that when people are talking to me that they're telling me the truth. I don't really know, okay? So y'all let me know. Is she naive or is she hopeful? It could be either one. Grace Greenleaf says LATISHA is strategic. I will admit that I do think LATISHA is smart, but I think I'm smart, but I can be also naive. Okay, so that was some food for thought. Anyway, STORMI's was that she was empathetic, quirky, and kind, but the misconception is that she's unapproachable. Tiffany's, because she's there, in case you didn't know, is that she gets it all wrong, but it's really, the truth is she's saying she doesn't like drama, and the misconception is that she's messy. Carlos King talked about this, and I hate when, and it's also something that I hate. It's something that he said that he hates, and I hate this as well. Tiffany came into this group on some messy behavior. It is what it is. And I feel like as a result of the audience dragging her for filth, that she's come into this season a lot less messy. And what you cannot do as a reality TV show participant is you cannot change your persona based on the whims of the audience. Because truthfully, the audience is not invested in you enough to garner them liking you yet. Okay. So if you continue down the path that you were originally on and don't switch up, you will usually find yourself a more successful Real Housewife, reality TV star, cast member, or whatever the case may be, because what people will come to appreciate is the fact that that is who you are and you did not change. That is the type of reality TV personality that I am looking for on these shows, especially when they're new. So, with that being said, Stormy, if this is your personality, and the people right now are saying Stormy be doing too much, you better come into season 2 doing too much yet again. Because here's the thing. If you change, if you switch it up because of what the people saying, then we know that wasn't your real persona to begin with. Lakeisha says Mel mentioned a lot editing took out. The drama started with the other games they played that was not shown due to editing. Okay, so all I know is what I saw, and I haven't seen Melody's lives or anybody's lives because I was on the road this morning trying to get back here so I can make sure I got this review to y'all before it got too late. Side note, we will be going live with the Jasmine brand at 9 p.m. tonight to review the Real Housewives of Atlanta again. So be sure to tune in to that. Okay. Now, anyway, Destiny, I forget what her truth was, but she says the misconception is that she's aggressive. And Kimmy's like, well, girl, I agree on that one. And then Destiny, Dr. Wendy Asefo, during the season 5 reunion of Potomac, has educated us all about not using the word aggressive to label Black women. So I will not be using the word to label her or any other woman at all. Okay. But for the sake of this show, they use the word aggressive. So I will be using the word aggressive when I am talking about what they said. So I'm giving you guys that disclaimer right now. Okay. When I am using the word, when I am referring to someone getting upset, I will use the words crunk or rowdy. All right. Anyway, Melody feels like Destiny's aggressive too. LATISHA, as Kim is giving a speech, okay, as as Kimmy's giving her speech about things or whatever, LATISHA's like, as she's grabbing her ponytail, I heard that a lot of people had a lot of things to say about me behind my back, but I'm here now, so you can say whatever you got to say to my face. Say it now. And I was like, dang, I felt, you know what it felt like? It felt like it was like two girls in the cafeteria in high school, and the one girl had rolled up already that day in her tennis shoes, and she knew she was gonna get that girl at lunch, and she was gonna say, girl, what's up? Say what you said behind my back. Say it right now to my face. Okay, that's the energy that it gave me. Okay, I don't know about y'all, but I didn't see them fights in high school, and that's what I remember. Okay, so Melody is like, who did you hear was saying something about you? And LATISHA says, you. talking about me and my husband. I talked to Kiki and she said you were trying to get her to say stuff about Marceau. Melody, Kiki, hey girl, Latisha's over here saying that you had said to me, you had said that I was trying to get her to say stuff about Marceau. Latisha in the background, and you better tell the truth because I'm right here too. Okay. And see, this is why I feel like Kiki would have been a better addition to this conversation than Tiffany, because Tiffany had nothing to say. Okay. So Kiki's like, yeah, your name came up. And I believe STORMI was the one that brought up your name. Actually, I don't know who brought up your name. Okay. And so Kimmy, ever the willing participant this season, says, Kiki, let me help you, girl. You have more than your fair share of things to say about LATISHA, and I told you to talk to LATISHA. And Kiki says, well, I didn't say anything that was untrue. So Melody, by Kiki, hangs up the phone and turns to LATISHA and says, Marceau's picture came up, which caused a conversation amongst the women. Nobody was just sitting around just talking about you. And so far, I'm noticing that maybe Melody has listened to the psychotherapist and has decided to remain calm during this conversation. Okay. So LATISHA says, well, it got back to me. You know, she's still in her tennis shoes, ponytail ready. It got back to me that it was a LATISHA bashing party. And STORMI's like, I mean, the only reason you was mentioned was because of your cousin, okay? And STORMI's accent, I am here for it. I don't know where it is from, but it gives me like, what's up? I mean, you know, what you want to do? You know, that's the type of energy she gives me. So LATISHA says it's interesting that Kiki was even there all along. Well, Melody is like, well, I met her before I met you. LATISHA's like, but you were the one talking about me and my husband. And Melody was like, well, actually, we all was. So then Kimmy is in her confessional like, oh, Lord, my Ponderosa, where I started all the drama, is falling apart. Oh, no. So then Destiny's chime in because it's her turn. And this is what I mean. You got to stay involved, okay? Destiny says, well, where's Destiny at this slumber party, this sleepover or whatever y'all want to call it? You apparently I'm somebody that you don't want to bring in 2020 with. And your issue with me is that I'm hanging out with your op. And LATISHA's like, well, what is an op? Kimmy has to break it down to her. It means it's a military term that means opposition, okay? Melody's like, is this conversation between me and Destiny? Because if so, I'm going to bring it back to me and Destiny, not you, LATISHA. So, Destiny's like, well, how is LATISHA your ops, but her cousin isn't? How does that work? What I wanted to say was, well, I mean, they're two different people. That's how it can work. And apparently, Melody's thought was, well, her cousin wasn't talking about me, wasn't talking bad about me. It was LATISHA who was talking bad about me. And LATISHA's like, well, who was talking bad about you? Destiny wants to know, well, what was said that was so negative? And then somehow LATISHA chimes in, and then it's on and popping. Melody says her issue is Destiny talking about her to LATISHA, and the issue is not that Destiny and LATISHA are friends, but it's that she is talking to LATISHA about her, okay? When LATISHA just basically dragged her on stage at the reunion. So Destiny is screaming, girl, stop. Girl, stop. Okay. Now, if you guys will recall, at the beginning of this Ponderosa, Kimmy had talked to LATISHA about the use of the word girl. Because apparently when you're in an argument and you use the word girl and it's amongst the ladies, it's gonna go left real quick. girl in addition to the word Mitch, which is the 5-letter word that rhymes with B-I-T-C-H, okay? For the purposes of this video, we will always use the word Mitch instead of the B word, okay? Got to keep it family friendly, allegedly. Anyway, Destiny screaming, girl, stop. And then Melody, because, you know, Latisha's coming at, so Latisha and Destiny are coming at Melody. And Melody's like, first of all, Mitch, I ain't even talking to you. I'm talking to her. Latisha gets up out her seat and says, first of all, I'm not going to be your Mitch. Then Melody gets up. And then Kimmy has to intervene. And she's like, wait, you can't call people Mitch. You can't call them out their names, people. And Melody's like, well, you know, whenever I'm having a conversation with Destiny, Latisha chimes in, which is the thing that started this on the reunion stage. And I wrote in my notes, aha, here is the moment where Melody and Latisha took a turn for the worse. Apparently, Latisha, during the reunion, was rolling her eyes as Melody was explaining to Destiny that she needs to take a break, you know, after filming. And so she addressed it with Latisha, and then her and Latisha, what wasn't shown was that her and Latisha also got into an argument where Latisha, you know, said, well, Melody tried to destroy my marriage. And Melody was like, I thought we had moved beyond all that, but apparently not. Okay. So then things turn heated again, you know, and Kimmy's like, you know, well, I just don't want no B words called. And Melody says, well, where was you at when they were doing the whole girl thing? And so we get a flashback of Kimmy telling Latisha not to use the word girl either. You can't use the word girl. You cannot use the word Mitch. Melody says that she is matching energy and she's going to meet whomever, wherever too. Stormi got a question. Question on the table, y'all. I got a question. Question in the back. Now, see, this is what was a moment that could have been had by Tiffany. Tiffany, where was you at? Was you eating the entire time? Like, what was happening over there? Was your drink too good? Was it getting too good to you? Did you not know where you should be interjecting? Did you not raise your hand? Or did you go to the bathroom? Okay, maybe she went to, that's it. Tiffany went to the bathroom. No, the phone rang. She had a call to take. She had to go. She had to go talk to Lewis. Something else happened because Tiffany was not there. Anyway, Stormi has a question. She says, well, who's the op and Destiny? What's the issue? Destiny says, well, I'm just going to have to love Melody from a distance. Stormi's like, why? Destiny says, because that's what she chose. Stormi was like, well, what does her being the op? What does Latisha got? What does Latisha being the op got to do with you and Melody? Destiny said, ask her. Stormi says, well, you got to have some kind of clue because you're the person that brought it up. And Stormi and Kimmy's like, well, Stormi, that's valid, but they can both answer the question. Stormi's like, on the real, Melody don't be mentioning y'all to me. So that's the thing. Like, she don't really be talking about y'all like that to me or whatever. Destiny is fixing her hair and she's like, oh, well, that's beautiful. Melody mentions that she and Destiny had a conversation where they reviewed their friendship and where it was. But since she has more questions, she'll review it again. So then Destiny gets snappy, or she says something to Melody. I don't know what she said. And Kimmy's like, listen, this is not going to be a productive conversation if you keep interrupting, okay? And she lets Destiny know. She's like, girl, you being aggressive with me. And I'm not even the person that you got issues with. Destiny says, okay, you right. Melody, go ahead. Melody's like, I'm good. I'm over it. And so Stormi is like, well, I definitely wouldn't go after all of that. Destiny says, but we're not talking about you. Stormi says, well, I don't have to be Melody, but you ain't got to talk to nobody like that. So then Stormi and Destiny start going at it. And, you know, Destiny's like mocking her accent. And Stormi's over there sitting there. She's like, you know, I see what it is. You want to be like me. You know, I feel that. I receive it. I receive it. Stormi got like this, like, I forget what kind of demeanor you call it, but it's definitely on some like real down south, like this ain't what you want type energy. And Destiny definitely got some up north, I'm going to give you what you want type energy. So it's real interesting watching the two of them go at it. Stormy's like, Destiny, you don't want to even do that with me. And Destiny's like, you don't want to do that with me. And then Destiny gets up and she's like, you don't know me like that. And Stormy like, what you gonna do? You ain't even got enough to come at me. Turn your heat on, B. And I was like, did she mean turn the heat on in the house? Or did she mean turn up your antics or what you're doing right now? Somebody let me know what she meant, because I didn't know how she meant it. You know, what did she mean turn your heat up in the home? Is the house cold? I don't know what's happening. But all I know is Kimmy and LATISHA got to go take Destiny round the corner. Melody trying to stop Stormy and telling her to sit down or whatever like that. And the show ends like that, baby. It ends like that. And it's gonna pick up next week. Now, you know what I'm glad they didn't do? Because Carlos, y'all could have easily done this. Y'all could have easily put a to be continued. But you know what? You didn't. No, you didn't. What you did was smart. You gave us the preview for next week. And the Galentine's Day continues, okay? It's LATISHA versus Melody round 3,561, okay? We got them going at it again, talking about Marceau and the things that Marceau does. And I do have to agree on one thing. One of the reasons that LATISHA's name is always being mentioned in conversations is usually because of something that Marceau then posted on the internet, okay? That is kind of true. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's how we got to this point in the beginning. Him posting that photo from the boys' trip down back in 2015 down to the Atlanta, where the mistress had talked about all these linebacker girls and whatnot. That's how we got here now. Okay. That was some kind of Ponderosa right there. Okay. All we needed was Jackie Christie in the mix. And it would have been popping, okay? It would have been really popping. But ooh-wee. Ooh-wee. Listen. This was a good episode here, okay? This was a good episode here. Y'all let me know what y'all thought about this episode down in the chatterization down below. Are your team LATISHA and Destiny, or are your team Melody and Stormy? Do you think they can all work it out? I don't necessarily know if I see it all working out at this point. Where was Tiffany at? If you know where Tiffany was during the conversation, write it down. Was she in the bathroom? Was she on the phone? Did she have to run home real quick? Was she feeding Lewis? Was she making drinks at the bar? Okay. Was she driving the carpool for the kids somewhere? Did she fly out of state and leave and go because you know she was about to leave and she was going to find her father? Did she just go and did she say this ain't for me? Where was she at? Where was she? She pulled an Ashley. She went to the bathroom. She missed it all. Okay. Tiffany, you have got to get into you got to get into the mix, baby. You got to get into the mix, baby girl. You do. And I know the people dragged you last season, but it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay because you know they don't know you. Nobody, the people didn't know you well enough to really like you like that or not. You know what I'm saying? So it was easier to dislike you because you came on the scene being messy. But you still got to get yourself involved in the fray, because if you don't, you become forgettable, and that's how somebody else will come in and take your spot. Okay, so just a little bit of friendly advice from your neighborhood Spider-Man. Okay. With that being said, y'all, I want to say just thank y'all for tuning into this review. Y'all know I love this show. I love these people. And I don't know what it is about Huntsville, but they just giving us that fire, and I'm so appreciative of it. Now, listen, to all the mothers out there today, enjoy yourselves. celebrate your moms, your aunties, your sisters, you know, y- soon to be mothers. You know, we just want to say happy Mother's Day. And, you know, we want to send some love to all the mothers in the building, and to also remember any of the mothers that we might have lost along the way. You know, we want to just send a shout out to heaven to those mothers as well. So y'all know that I love y'all, and I'm gonna catch y'all in the next video.